IMHO Talk Show.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Sir Charles.
AA Ron back at you.
IMHO Talk Show. So, hopefully you've been enjoying your stay so far, family, because you could be anywhere, but you're here with us, and we certainly appreciate that. And so, it's AA Ron and I in here, talking, hitting some headlines right about now. It goes without saying, because it's every day for us, because we reiterate the teachings. We don't expect the oppressive school system to educate our own, my brother. So
that's right, my brother. Power to the people.
Happy Black History Month.
Yeah, that's right.
Black man.
Martin Luther the King, Malcolm X, Harriet Tubman, Dr. Wilson, and all that.
That's right. And rest in
fried
power.
Chicken, watermelon.
Bro, I'm trying to be serious now, bro. Rest in power to Reverend Jesse Jackson.
So, yeah. Reverend Jackson,
regardless of what you think about him,
so
he did what he did.
The crazy thing is, first of all, Reverend Jackson, civil rights icon, just his reputation is impeccable for the work he did. There's a lot of other things in his personal life, and that's one thing that we can kind of talk about. Yeah. Is that we're a little with all of us is a little questionable. Just like I got some questionable stuff. Hey, Reverend, you got some questionable stuff. I tell you, man, the one thing I remember about Reverend Jackson specifically, in his heyday, one of the best orators ever. Just a fantastic communicator. Yeah. I specifically remember him running for president in '87. But the other thing is that I remember Eddie Murphy in Delirious talking about, you can win, Jesse, you can win. and talk about Jesse Jackson like getting elected and then like running from the bullets and stuff like that. But no, Jesse really had
don't forget the SNL, Eddie.
Jesse man. On SNL. Yeah. But just an impeccable run and did a lot of work and helped a lot of people, and so I think that he needs to be looked at as a person that should be studied, and most importantly, condolences to his family. Yeah, absolutely. Someone lost a father. Not sure if he married. I'm not sure when he passed if he was married or not. But just condolences to his family and any siblings he had. But he lived a long life and did a lot of good work.
Absolutely.
Did a lot of good work.
Absolutely, yeah. Definitely is a stalwart in history. I very fond memories. Growing up and that being an inspiration. And like he's like relatable to to an Al Sharpton as it pertains to crossing genres,
absolutely,
and boundaries. Like when you look back on their history, like they were involved in Black life on so many levels, right, and had strong impacts on pushing us forward, right, and that's the main thing, because like you said, man, we could go into most of everyone's history and find inadequacies, so to speak, find things like that, and so to me that never negates the good, though. Like it doesn't negate the great as far as the movement that was born. Now, like sometimes all that asterisks, if it's that serious, now, like him being a man and having just, normal flaws is, not excusable, but it's forgivable. The one thing that has always seemed to be conspiracy, like I don't think there's been hard evidence, is the folks that say, and there's some Black folks like that didn't even want to recognize his passing because they believe that he was involved in Dr. King's assassination. I know you've heard that before.
Yeah, I don't have any evidence to say or he did it. I'd say if Jesse was involved in it, he got the check from the federal government. And that's all I got to say.
Yeah.
That means he was probably signed up with them boys, as a lot of them were. And, but again, life is to be studied. Yeah. Life is to be studied.
Big facts. Yeah, man. But, we think about celebrating Black history. Like shouts out to all that are holding up the wall. We, also can't help but think about, first the term Black in making history. Hey, Ron, right? You ever notice how, the qualifier of being Black is the lead off a lot of times when it comes to like recognizing folks, meaning first Black blank to ever do X, Y, and Z. Do you feel like that there's a shelf life for that, or do you feel like because of the history of this country, us being set apart and making history, regardless of what it is, should or will always be recognized. Because sometimes that stuff gets way simplified, bro. It'd be like the first black man to ever
to listen to the radio at 3 a.m. on a Tuesday. Right.
To ever buy a loaf of bread in Grand Rapids, Michigan. You know, like, come on, y'all. But yeah, but that significance of the first black, like, do you think that's still needed?
You know what, Charles? I don't necessarily have a problem with it, because even today, I think we were just watching the Olympics and they showed this sister that was doing the speed skating, and she was like the first black woman. And I'm just like, if you're not participating in it, if your group has been economically excluded from some of these activities, and you do get into it and you do dominate, I have no problem with rooting for that sister saying she's the first black person to do it. I have zero, because this country, it is what it is. We are a demographic minority, not a minority in reference to sense and worth, but we're a demographic minority. We are not the majority of the country. And so anytime that you're numerically insufficient and you're not represented in these groups, and you actually get into some of these realms and you start to dominate and you start to do well,
and those groups had a head start.
And those groups, it is what it is. So, and so I have no issue with the term. Zero. I still applaud it. Hey, man, look, you're talking to the brother that when people get on Family Feud and it's a black family and it's somebody else, you know who I'm rooting for, right? I'm rooting for the black family. I'm rooting for the brother on The Prize Is Right. Okay? I just want to win.
I know how that Family Feud.
Family Feud.
Oh, that black family win.
Come on, y'all. Come on.
I mean, that ain't bad, isn't it? You know? That ain't bad. I'm rooting for anybody. What Issa Rae say? I'm rooting for everybody that's black.
Hey, it is what it is. You know? I love my group, and that's okay. You know, that's okay.
Yeah, that's right. Because to be pro something doesn't automatically make you anti.
That don't mean I don't like nobody else, but come on, man. I love my group. I love my people. It is what it is. And I think everybody else should love their group and love their people. That doesn't mean that you're an enemy. That means that you love who you love. Now, if we're in economic warfare, guess what? I want to win with my group and my people. It's a race to the top. So we're going to figure it out. But yeah, I have no problem with the term at all. Because and one thing about Black history that I think that it's not even Black history, it's American history, is that during Black History Month, Charles, there are so many inventors and inventions.
Yes.
I didn't realize a black man invented the daggone dustpan, bro.
That's important.
The dustpan.
Yeah.
Like all these simple things. The father of AI, a black man, got a chip named after him from NVIDIA. Like all these wonderful things. Black people are as American as that flag.
Oh, facts.
And people need to remember that.
Yeah. I mean, that is
they have participated.
Important.
We have participated in every war in this country, have shed blood for every single cause, and are more American than people that say they're American. But that's for another day.
Right. No, you spot on, man, because we are right here in Charlottesville, Virginia, you know, Monticello. And it's always interesting when you go to Monticello and you get a tour, you talk to folks. Some folks want to be more, you know, boisterous than others when it comes to telling those intricacies of who actually did what. You know what I mean? But yeah, the fact of the matter is that's when it matters, because we didn't get the head start. We didn't get reparations. We didn't get royalty checks. We didn't get trademarks that can feed our, you know, families and communities for generations after generations. Right. So when people want to cry reverse racism, it is ridiculous. It's like, let's talk about the actual factuals.
Black Americans, and I will say it,
and it still exists. The prejudice and racism is still systematic.
Yeah, it ain't going nowhere. It's not going anywhere. Most people on the planet are anti-black, but Black America, and I don't think that this is a stretch, is the soul of this country. And I don't even think it's debatable. In every area that you think about, it's the soul, it's the pulse, it's the spirit, it's the music, it's the bop, it's how the people fight, it's the energy, it's everything. Yeah. And so we need to celebrate ourselves every single day. I don't care about Black History Month. I love Black people in general. Right. And I'm always pulling for us to do well and to solve some of these problems that we got.
Yeah. So, something you made me think of real quick too. What about like in the sports realm? Because you remember it was the sister. I think it was Saria. Saria Bonali. She back in the day, like I think 90, she was ice skating. She was in the Olympics. She did.
Shorty did that daggone
She did
flip,
the first backflip.
Yeah.
And she got
did it just for GP.
Right. And she got penalized for it. So now, young man Ilya, he's from Virginia, by the way. And like he was out there skating hip hop music and everything, right? You know, crazy, you know, but respect. But he did it and like, you know, got just like heralded for it. But they say when she did it, it was illegal. Here's my thought on that, though. Was it actually illegal, or they were just so flabbergasted that somebody could physically do that and they didn't know what to do with it? Like, they were like, how do we score that? So let's just disqualify her because nobody else can do that. That's something that also happens in our history quite a bit.
That's the Simone Biles theory.
Yeah, right. It's like we always like exceeding expectations, and then the finish line gets moved.
Right. But that's what
nobody
I mean
else
by,
can do it.
But that's what I mean by the pulse, the soul of something. You not being rewarded by the dominant society has nothing to do with the fact of your creativity and how brilliant and beautiful it is. Thanks. When baby girl did that flip, she did this. Look, she did it for every MLK Boulevard, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Love it.
She was like, "Hey, y'all, watch this," and we were just like, "Good God!" They don't know, but they don't know what to do with it, Charles.
Yeah,
they don't know what to do with it, and I don't expect them to know what to do with it.
Yeah,
because it's us.
It's
us. We're beautiful.
Love it. Love it. Yeah, man. Shoot. So, this also makes me think about let's see, where should we go with this next, man? How about the Teddy Bridgewater ruling happening down?
You got to give me more information on that.
So folks may know that like a year or two ago, Teddy Bridgewater actually got fired from his high school coaching job for doing what folks always do, helping out kids in need. Of course, like when there's money exchange or any kind of currency like a financial benefit to amateur athletes, that comes with penalty because they can see it as like some sort of payoff. Or
was it that he was like buying kids food or something like that?
Very simple, just being helpful. Right. Like he may have
and that's the team. I think they won a state championship too,
or something. Yeah, I believe the year
before.
They did.
Okay, gotcha. Okay,
or bus pass, all that kind of stuff, man. So Florida Senate has passed the bill called the Teddy Bridgewater bill, allowing coaches to use their personal finance up to a certain limit, which is great. Now, of course, we know this is riding the heels of NIL.
Right.
But I wanted your thoughts on that, man, because it's, I always thought it was crazy. Even before college, collegiate and amateur athletes, were getting paid, to me, it always needed a level of common sense.
Right.
Of like, okay, there's a young child in need, right? It's a life or death situation, right? Like a parent died. Like they got to get home to their family. They don't have money to get home. And a coach would literally get reprimanded, get fired, get fined for just for that level of help. And I always felt like that was also where the scales were tipped, into others' favor of penalizing us again. Right. And always trying to figure out like how to keep somebody back. But now with NIL, which needs to be reined in a little bit itself. Right. It needs some sort of commissioning around it to control it. But I like the fact that the schools and others and big business isn't, profiting off of our name, image, and likeness anymore without us receiving our fair share. And when I say us, of course, majority being Black student athletes, but it's for all student athletes.
It's the athletics that drive revenue.
Yeah.
And listen, I know people love it, but if somebody did the revenue on UVA racquetball and UVA football, I would make a very strong wager that UVA football drives the revenue. Yeah. And the majority of that team, a good portion of that team is probably very athletic, very well-to-do, smart, academic Black males. I could be wrong. I don't think I am.
I don't think you are either, sir. I don't think you are either.
Yeah, I don't know. So the NIL thing is interesting because, what's that term they say? It's all good until the rabbit got the gun.
Right.
And so, you have to remember the coaches used to be the celebrities. So Nick Saban, all these guys, you could pay them. They typically, most people, I want everybody to hear this. Most college basketball and college football coaches, if they're coaching a big time school, they are probably some of the highest paid state employees in the state.
Yeah.
Like I remember Jim Calhoun was the basketball coach at UConn. He was the highest paid employee in the whole state of Connecticut. So he made the most money. Now the flip side is now the athletes are the celebrities. So more people know the kids' names and they're forgetting about the coaches.
That's right.
Now I think that if these kids and these representatives and this management and these agents were smart, they would structure it a little bit, because if you could turn this into something to where you get a guarantee, Charles, for a minimum of 2 years, it's like, hey, if you go to the University of Virginia and you're the starting quarterback, this NIL money you can't transfer, but you have to do a 24-month commitment. To me, that's perfect. Because guess what? You get a guaranteed number, you get a guaranteed contract, you get some stability, and then at the end of the contract, you can re-up. This free agency every single year, I think what the kids are going to learn to find out is that lack of stability, it's all well and good. And then I'll say one other thing, because they're going to learn that lack of stability is not good. But Charles, a lot of these kids are not going to go pro. And so when a lot of these kids are not going a lot of these kids were not going to the professional ranks, this is the most money that they ever going to make. When they graduate, Charles, that NIL deal is over.
Facts.
You know,
now, but you made
Jimmy's pork biscuit business, they ain't paying you $500,000 no more because you're not bringing value to the institution. So I hope you guys have good representation. You're stacking that bread, you're investing it, because when it's over, it's over.
When it's over, it is over.
It's over.
Now, but that's a big part of it, because the getting that control, man, is like, because it's also doing a disservice. Like, the money is a good part, but the level of commitment, right, and the level of just like wherewithal is being hurt without that, getting a structure around it, because you are essentially just chasing the bag, and sometimes you're leaving situations that are actually nurturing you because you're just chasing the bag.
I just think the stability.
And when we're talking about 18-year-olds, we can't expect them to make a mature decision to that level. And sometimes they do themselves a disservice because everybody think that they the number one option on every team.
Right. So a great example is
life ain't like that.
The kid Carson Beck. He was at Georgia. He was there for 2 years, and he won 2 national championships. Because he was the starting quarterback for one of those years, he ended up making more money going to Miami because he had a tenure there, consistency, and he had a reputation. It's hard for you to get a reputation after 1 year. And I'm not against the kids getting their money. I'm like, do both.
Right.
24-month commitment and get your bread. It's a guarantee. It's win-win. But the year to year, Charles, we got people that have been in school for like 6-7 years, man. Talk about you won't play basketball again. If you don't go home and go take care of your family, stop playing.
Big fact.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. It's all good though.
You know, so to close this segment, man, in this dialogue, what would you think if I coined the phrase "set up to fall"? I believe it was Miss Afeni Shakur, may she rest in peace, that told Tupac that other people won't always destroy you. They will give you the weapons to destroy yourself.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
So when I think about, a lot of our esteemed Black celebrities or celebrities of color in general, but, particularly Black, because we hear Black men, Black History Month, shouts out. When we look at their falls and their demises, number one, a lot of times people got to stop believing everything they see on social media and actually do some research, because we know that everything gets put up like gospel nowadays. And sometimes even before social media, if there was enough power behind it, if you needed to take somebody down, people in power would do just that. And they knew that they controlled the media to be able to control the narrative, the thought narrative. So since every man has his flaws, everybody makes mistakes, and you get to a level to where you got to be careful not to be a fall guy. Just because everybody else doing it don't mean you could do it too. And I think we're seeing that a lot, right? And there's so many examples that we could give, throughout that storyline. But Sharon Moore is one
very interesting story.
So the fact of the matter is that yes, he had a girlfriend, he had an affair with and had a girlfriend that was on his staff, right? Which has its own level of complexity of being on the staff, being married, and having an affair. Recently, I bring this up because it may become a mistrial. It may get thrown out because they have found that the prosecution has indeed fabricated and lied and misled this trial. So my question, knowing all that, can this be a redemption story for him, or is it too far too late?
It's not. The reason why I'm so. The reason why this will not be a redemption story is because his lack of his lack of sexual control is what got him in trouble in the first place. Because if he had a little bit of resilience, just a little bit of just a little bit, Charles, he wouldn't have been in this spot. And remember, they can throw the case out. You already lost the bread. You already lost the job. So he's going to get back on somebody's staff. John Harbaugh might hire him or something like that. And he'll end up having a good career. But he's going to look at back. I think myself as a man that's made some poor decisions before, he's going to look back on this and say, man,
Facts.
I had the opportunity to be the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar corporation. And guess what? He needs to know, and we all need to know, they are waiting for you to make a mistake.
Facts.
Waiting.
Yeah.
Because guess what? If you're not out there being elite, you're just another brother with a job. Man.
Even if you're in the band, still in a coop.
hey, you know, so you just you have to be thinking like that. And I think that, and this is just men, but black men specifically, we have a lot of unique opportunities. But the reality is I have to play by the rules that God has given me. Not those other rules. And I play by the other rules. You ain't gonna win with no D-discipline. Sorry, fellas. You ain't gonna win, bro.
You know what it makes me think about?
You just ain't gonna win.
You know what it makes me think about? And I always mess up his name, and I don't think I get it right now, but the former Celtics coach that's now the Houston Rockets
Ime Udoka.
Yeah. So that brother, I think this is a parallel because he had a lot of like sexual misconduct and bad judgment. But this is a very forgiving country. And it eventually got chalked up, you know, like a little time, like, you know, like time heals wounds.
Right.
To be like, okay, he sexual misconduct, like the man, you know, kind of being a man, so to speak, out of control. We're going to forgive it. We're going to give him another chance. Right. Bam. So that's my point with the Sharon Moore of if this is going to be a redemption story or otherwise,
possibly,
because now will they say, okay, so all that other crazy stuff that they tried to paint on you and tried to create this like image about you, all that wasn't true. You made a mistake. You're remorseful. You can move on with your life. So does that mean he can get another coaching job? Because in a forgiving country, people want that redemption story to a certain extent too.
I don't know if they want it from him.
So is this now simplifying his case back to, okay, yeah, you messed up, like, but you ain't as crazy as we thought. So, you know, they even talk about he may be able to sue the University of Michigan because it almost became a witch hunt.
Yeah, well, it might be, but I think the problem he's going to have, the difference between Ime Udoka, that's the coach we're talking about, and Sharon Moore, the year that happened, they just came from the finals. They were just going to the finals.
And Michigan was in the chip.
No, Michigan was in the chip 2 years ago. They weren't recently in the chip. So you got there, okay. You got a championship coach and you. Are you worth the cost? What's that term called, Charles? Is the juice worth the squeeze? They was like, hey, Sharon, hey, bro, you better get this prune juice out of here, man. Because it's like, dude, is the juice worth the squeeze? And you saw Ime, he sat out for a year, and then he got another job because you are an elite coach. With Mr. Moore, I think what they're telling you is that we don't necessarily know if you're on that level to be that level. If he's a great coach, Charles, guess what? You can't block talent. Somebody going to pick you up. I don't know if he's that good a coach, but we'll see. Shout out to that brother. Hopefully, you know, he learned some. Hey, bro, you learned a $50-60 million lesson, bro.
Yeah. Hopefully you can bounce back. And most importantly, hopefully your children can bounce back. You know, you follow what I'm saying? You know, because you are a man, you are a leader, you were head of household, you were all of these things. So number one is hopefully those babies are gonna be okay.
Yeah, man. Yeah, bro. Come on, Sharon. Get your life together, man. Come on, bro. We got you. We got you back.